It seems that everywhere you look these days, there are so-called experts telling us all about cars, advising us on what performs well, what looks good, and yes, what suits you, sir. Well, we've decided to get our expert advice from two Northwest families. They're going to be checking out a couple of off-roaders for us, and we've even got the off-road weather to go with it. But before we find out about the cars, let's say hello to the families. This is the Battle family. Dad Jason is a sales executive based in their hometown of Accrington, along with his wife Maxine, who has a full-time job taking care of the three children, Elliot, Nathan and Naomi. The Battle family are currently driving a Ford Escort. Ideally, they'd like a car that does remain economical and one that's suitable for their growing family. Our second family this week is the Johnstone family. Dad Mike is a building inspector. Mike's wife Sarah is a nurse and they live in Swinton in Manchester with their two children, Catherine and Elizabeth. They currently drive a Vauxhall Cavalier and are looking for something as practical for their day-to-day routine. The first car this week is being driven by the Battle family. It's the Isuzu Trooper Citation. It's got a 3.5 litre engine and could well be classed as one of the biggest, baddest off-roaders around. Against it is the Subaru Legacy. It's more of a car that claims complete off-road capability, but still giving you the power and performance from its 2.5 litre engine. Mike is first in the driving seat with his wife Sarah. So what are the best points so far?
It's the driving of it. I'd like to have the car without the family in it. I think when they went to bed, I'd be taking it out afterwards for a little bit more exciting ride. I think it's more of a driver's car than a family car. There's a few gadgets and bits and bobs. It's got all the mod cons. It's got everything, every gadget in it you can imagine. It's got the cruise control, traction control. It's got electric everything.
It's very comfortable, and like I said, when he's going around the corners, you do feel secure. I'm not having to hold on to the door, as if I'm falling over. It's comfortable, yeah.
Meanwhile, in the Trooper, Jason and Maxine seem to be putting this rough, tough 4x4 through its paces, and so far they seem quite happy with it.
The Trooper's sporty, responds well. You're high, so you can see all around you. You can see more things coming ahead. All the controls are close to hand, and it's an all-round good performer.
I really like this one. The only fault I'd give it, that's just because it's a two-door. It's hard work getting in and out for children. If it were a four-door, it'd be great. But I like this. This is my favourite. I want one.
Now, we thought it was important to test out as many different conditions as possible. So we asked our families to put both cars to the test and sent them on a selection of roads and motorway to discover the good and bad points in handling, performance and comfort. Off-roaders like the Trooper can sometimes have a reputation to wobble and wallow on the tarmac and give you a pretty uncomfortable ride, which could prove a nightmare on long journeys. So is there truth in this common statement from the world of the motoring media?
On a long distance drive where you're going a couple of 100 miles, I'd be concerned that is it truly comfortable for a long distance drive. However, for drives under 100 miles, yes, it's practical.
I think it's really comfy. Sorry, Jason. Yeah, I like it.
Back on the road in the Legacy, Mike contemplates the question, would he actually buy one?
I wouldn't turn my nose up if it was given to me, of course. We've got Vauxhall Cavalier, which is a hatchback, which suits our needs as a family car. It's the family wagon. This could easily take its place. All the bits and bobs are lovely. I would quite happily have one of these, although I think I'd like to shop around a bit more first before I made my mind up.
Well, the weather certainly isn't getting any better, so we thought this was a good time to grab a bite of lunch in a local pub. The families can exchange stories about how the cars have been over the past few days, and more importantly, they can also swap cars. Let's go and do it. Back on the road after a quick change of keys, and it's time for Jason and Maxine to drive the Legacy and compare the two.
Right, the Subaru is more practical for a family, for the space-wise, and there feels more room inside, where it's a bit tighter in the actual Trooper.
I like the Isuzu more for looks-wise, and it were only a two-door. I think that's better. It's more practical when you've got children, safety-wise.
Maxine seems to like most things better about the Trooper than the Subaru. Mike, however, has his own thoughts.
I found it a pain in the neck being a three-door, but our family is very young and they're not in a position to climb in the car yet and strap themselves in yet.
It's a total different drive than a car. It's a bit like driving a bus, really, but I think it's just the type of vehicle. I'd soon get used to it.
Our two teams have put these vehicles through the rigours of a day with their families, but there's still one test left to do. Now, most vehicles never see more action than the odd trundle up a country lane or maybe a visit to the supermarket, but these cars are actually capable of going off-road. So we thought the mums, Maxine and Sarah, would like to do just that. Now, before you start to panic, because I know you've not done anything like this before, we've got two wonderful off-road instructors for you, so you're in good hands. Sarah, if you go off with Tim, OK, and you can take the Trooper. Maxine, we've got Selwyn for you, very experienced. He'll look after you. Off you go in the Subaru. OK, best of luck to all of you. Please don't crash, please. Now, off-roading isn't as easy as you might think, but there are 3 simple steps to success. A supple suspension, low gearing, and a very understanding bank manager. The first step, though, is to keep heading in the right direction.
Now you're oversteering a little bit to the left, turn to the right. We tend to do that, okay?
Yeah.
If we're a little bit concerned about that, a big drop on that side, so you tend to oversteer to the left.
Right.
It's like in fog when people are driving, they'll steer to the left because you don't want to steer to the right because you're into oncoming traffic or something.
Okay, so it's a similar sort of track at the moment, no problems. It just disappears from sight. Keep your foot well away from that clutch. Now you've got it. You're tending to cover the clutch there. You could feel it now. You can accelerate a little bit if you feel happy enough.
It's very doubtful that you would take either of these cars through such conditions, but if, like Maxine and Sarah, you decided to, how would you go on? Earlier I spoke to professional off-road instructors Selwyn Kendrick and Tim Kirk, who have tried out both cars on the course.
Well, after driving most of four-wheel drive vehicles and you come to something like this, it's not tended to be a four-wheel drive vehicle. We tend to see it in forestry experiences, loose and that sort of stuff, and I've been pleasantly surprised. It's a very capable vehicle, although they're normally bought to go around supermarkets and that sort of thing, but yes, it's performed exceptionally well off-road.
The Trooper's a type of vehicle that you can sit up and you can look at all the conditions ahead. You're not sat down in the traffic, so you can adjust your driving accordingly. But in an off-road environment, it's a great advantage to be sat high up. You can see the obstacles and you can plan your route ahead.
After some expert advice, the family test is over and it's time to find out how they got on.
How was it? Wonderful. Come round. Is it all right, Maxine? Brilliant. Good. Loved it. How did the girls do?
Absolutely brilliant.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, there's one here who's glad to see you back in one piece. There he is. Oh, there's your mummy. You've had a really good time to spend time with these cars. You've had a great look at them both. So which one do you want to take home at the end of the day?
The Trooper, definitely.
Really? Even though it's only got 3 doors and you've got both 2 young children?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah? Are you in agreement with that?
Yeah, we would like the Trooper. It'd have to be the 5-door for me. Yeah, we've just had to struggle getting this one out now.
What about you two? Are you in agreement there?
For practicality and performance, the Legacy. No shadow of a doubt.
Just to be different.
Yes.
Right, let's say the last word to you. Nathan, which one would you like to take home?
Legacy.
A Legacy? Why?
Because it's got Legacy, it's got a lot of good gadgets and it's automatic.
I think you're going to have a job that pays you lots of money when you grow up. That's what you want to do. Well, no matter what Nathan says, I think the overall opinion is just in favour of the Trooper. Thanks all of you, it's been great.